What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. Let's get right into the video. I don't want to waste a single minute. So I felt my first contraction on the 30th of July 2023, and it's quite fitting because it's exactly a couple of weeks shy of a year later because Mila's birthday is coming up. My baby's almost one. I am beside myself. I cannot believe it. Anyway, felt my first contraction around the 30th of July. For a few hours before that, I had already been experiencing my mucus plug, TMI. If that freaks you out, I suggest you just skip the video. I had already been feeling my mucus plug for a few hours before that, and so I kind of was anticipating when is this contraction coming. Like, I actually wanted it to go. 30th of July, 12 a.m. We're on the couch watching movies, and I started feeling this ache on my lower back. And it was quite consistent on one spot for a while. And about an hour into it, I messaged my friend who's a midwife. Now, I met her when I did our antenatal classes. I don't know if I spoke about that in my pregnancy video, but I highly recommend doing antenatal classes because it just gives you a good foundation for all the basics you need to know. How to take care of yourself postpartum, how to start breastfeeding, how to wash your baby, how to, if your baby chokes, what to do. So, like, really good fundamental stuff to start with, because I feel like you start parenthood in the dark. Like, you don't know what's going on. There's no trainer that's with you all day long training you how to be the great parent. So, antenatal classes, I loved it. It was amazing. Long story short, the midwife who instructed the class, she and I became really good friends. I love her. I feel like she's a baby whisperer. She's just incredible. Her intuition is so in sync with babies and women through pregnancy. It's just phenomenal. So I highly recommend that experience. But long story short, I reached out to her. I was chatting to her for a couple of days already when I noticed that my mucus plug was coming out. And I messaged her that time of the night, like 1 a.m. or something. And I was like, hi. Sorry for the message at this hour, but I'm experiencing aches in my lower back, and I explained it to her, and Lydia and I start timing it. And we're timing it, and we're timing it, and we're timing it, and it feels a little consistent, and then it feels a little inconsistent. I think it was 5 minutes, and it was 10 minutes, and it was 15 minutes, and it was 10 minutes, and it was 10 minutes, and it was 5 minutes, so it wasn't regular. The morning comes around maybe 5 or 6 a.m. Lido and I decide, or we're speaking to the midwife, right? And she's like, okay, why don't you guys go get checked out? It sounds a little bit regular, so I'm not sure. My dream was to, mucus plug comes out, contractions start, head to the hospital, push the babies out. I wanted it in that order, and I wanted it snappy. Who doesn't? I know, just saying. Anyway, we make our way to the hospital. I have a little clip of us traveling to the hospital that time of the morning. So with Lido's approval, I might insert it now. It is the 30th of July.
Yeah.
6:15.
Yeah. A.M.
A.M.
Load shedding. Has just started. We're on our way to the hospital.
I've been experiencing contractions since, I would say, midnight.
Yeah.
But for like the first hour or so, I wasn't sure what it was. But after a while, you kind of know. It's all in my lower back. We've been timing the contractions, and it's now like 2 in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We should ideally wait for 3 in 10 minutes, but the pain's getting worse. So I'd rather just go to the hospital and be monitored and check on baby. Your dad's been amazing, massaging me, encouraging me. We've been speaking to Ilani, who's a midwife, and she's also been so encouraging and just guiding us on what to do next.
Hello, Cherry.
I'm listening.
Play music.
putting on our worship music. Can't wait to meet you, baby Vida. Our plan is to stay calm, stay praying, and God willing, meet you by lunchtime.
Amen.
Today, in Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
So, we love you.
We can't wait to meet you.
Baby. And off to the hospital we go.
Okay, so we get to the hospital, and because we did the antenatal class, they also offer a hospital tour, and Mediclinic Vergelegen is the one that we went to, and I did the hospital tour, leader and I, and it was amazing because we got to see the birthing suites, we got to see where to check in at the emergency section, everything. So we were very comfortable when we arrived there that morning, and we go through the whole process, and they take us in, and we go into a not a labor room. Yes, a labor room. We went to a labor room, not a suite, right? The suite is afterwards. And we on the bed, and I'm in the room, and you can just see everything around you, and it's just so real. Like, oh my gosh, this baby's coming. I want everything to be okay. And we chill there for a little bit. They bring me breakfast. They contact my gynae, and a couple of hours later, she comes. She does a physical examination, and she says, you are 2 centimeters dilated. It's very early on, so you can choose to stay or you can choose to go home. And I was like, just mentally, I was in shock being in that room, even though I was in that room before. And I was just like, I think I want to go home. I'm going to be more comfortable, and we'll come back later. So she said, okay, cool, because nothing's going to happen probably between like 4 to 6 hours. We're just going to keep checking up on you, and I'm going to give you at least 4 hours of just chilling here anyway. So we're like, okay, cool, let's go home. We go home, we get McDonald's, actually on the way home. We get McDonald's, and I'm eating, and as I'm eating, the contraction comes, and then I'm eating, and then I'm like, and then I'm eating. So that was fun. Anyway, we get home, and later I was like, okay, we haven't slept, so let's try and get a nap in. And we sleep, and every 10-15 minutes, I'm waking up for a contraction. Most annoying nap of our lives. I think around 3 p.m. that afternoon, which is now, right, the 30th of July, I say to Leroy, this feels more painful than this morning. I think we should go back. Now, mind you that our hospital bag had been packed and in the boot for weeks and weeks and weeks before, really. So there was nothing to do. I literally grabbed my gown. I stayed in my pajamas. I grabbed my gown and off we went, and the hospital's 10 minutes away, so couldn't be more convenient. Anyway, around late afternoon, I'm like, okay, this feels more painful. I think we should go back. Excuse me. We go back, and the gynae comes, she checks me out, and I am 5 centimeters dilated. And she's like, okay, cool. You are checked in. You are not leaving the hospital. Here we go. You know, the journey actually begins. The hospital part of the journey, right? It is simple. Then I get comfortable. They bring delicious food. The nurses and everything were divine. They were so helpful, and we were chilling, watching Friends in between contractions. I was laughing, eating. Worship music was playing in our room, and we took like 2 photos. I think the rest of the time we were just like patiently chilling. Honestly, that's what we did. Contractions slowly like escalate in pain level, and I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not missing any parts of it, you know, because your memory, you lose bits of it along the way. Around 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Yeah, I tell Leader like it's too much. I want my epidural. So my birth plan was always to incorporate the epidural. I've never had anything against that part of the procedure, and so it was always part of my plan to do it. And so it was part of the birth plan, and then the person was technically on standby knowing that he could be called in on this day. Anyway, we confirm, we call the nurse, I tell the nurse I want my epidural, I need to get the anesthesiast to come in. So then they check one more time to see how far you are. She said, let me check how far you are, because if you're too far, there's no point in you getting the epidural anyway. So she checks me, and I think she said I'm 7. And she's like, okay, cool, you on just the right centimeter to actually get the anesthesiast to come in. Okay, he comes in, he maybe took about 30 minutes to get there, and that part of the process, I wish I filmed it, because it was so super cool. Like, I loved it. So you sit up, first of all, he sets himself up. My baby's waking up for real. I thought she was waking up, and then she put herself back to sleep, and now I think she's waking up. Hold up. Okay, I'm back. A breastfeed and a diaper change later. Okay, I was saying the experience of the anesthesiast was super cool. Okay, I think I left off by saying he sets up all of his little tools and gadgets. I'm gonna call it tools and gadgets, guys. And then you sit up on the bed, right? And he opens your gown at the back, obviously, and he puts like a cold numbing agent down your back. I think I'm like tapping into that moment again. And then he obviously inserts a needle. But now, before he does that, he was waiting for my cue. So he's like, okay, so tell me when a contraction is done, and then I'll insert the needle. So don't let me do it while you're all tensing up in between a contraction, you know? So I'm like, okay, that makes perfect sense. And I don't know why, but while he was there, I was taking my contractions. Well, Leroy says I was taking my contractions like a boss, because he could see I was in pain, but I was managing it like really well. And while the anesthesiast was there, I was like that. And before that, I was a little bit more vocal because Lita was rubbing my back on the spot. And that's another thing about the antenatal class, is that the midwife came to spend time at my home. We had like a nice consultation with her where she kind of spoke Leroy through how he can support me during our birthing experience. So he knew exactly where to massage. He knew how to kind of just support me and encourage me through that stage, which was amazing because he was confident in what he was doing. I was confident knowing that he knew what to do. Okay, and then anyway, so we wait for the contraction to end, and he inserts the needle, and it's like a little pinch. Like I just did that. I didn't even like get a fright or anything like that. And he was like, "Wow, you have a very high threshold for pain because you're not." Most women are like, well, not most women, but he often has experiences where women are like screaming a little bit or crying a little bit or pinching and tensing up a lot. And I was like, dude, my contractions is painful. Okay, the pinch of that needle was like super chilled in comparison. Anyway, he does all of that. A very short process, like maybe 20 minutes total of him arriving, setting up, and he introduces himself so that you're comfortable with him. You quickly build a relationship with him. He specifically was really sweet and kind, and obviously being a dad himself, him having a wife himself, he was very gentle and kind. And so he finishes everything up. Like I said, it takes about 20 minutes, right? And then we tie up my gown, and I don't know how long it took, but it really wasn't long. And then I could feel the contractions come. I just felt like tension there, but no pain. Then I was chilling. Guys, then we were chilling, okay? I was laughing and going on, but to be fair, I was laughing through all my contractions. Like, we were watching Friends, we were talking, we were joking. And so I was having fun in between the chaos. But after that, I was another level of relaxed. You know what I mean? I could take a nap. I remember. I ate again. I could take a nap. Like, I kept falling in and out of sleep all the time. Because obviously your body's like aware that something phenomenal is happening. Like, you can't... Well, for me personally, I couldn't like go into a long, deep sleep or something. It was like short little naps for the rest of the evening. So, mind you, he came around 7 after 7, right? And from that time till about 10, 11... the nurse came back in to check up on me, and my water hadn't broken yet. And I've been told by many people now that that's very movie-like, that you have a contraction, or the first thing that happens is you get this burst of water. To some people, it does definitely happen, But it's not the most common thing. What's most common is actually that you get contractions first and not that you have this burst of water first. Anyway, and she's like, oh, your water hasn't broken yet. I'm going to break it for you. And I just feel like this tug, like that. And she's like, okay, cool, we've broken your water. And I'm like, okay. I obviously didn't feel anything. And I'm sure there was a little bit of pain because I felt the tug and then something release. You know, and then she done like a little bit of like cleaning up down there. I could feel my body and I could move. Okay, so there was numbness around the area where I was feeling pain, but I could still like move my foot when she asked me to move my foot. Okay, so now I'm gonna fast forward because then we were just chilling after that. So we chill, and then around, I think maybe 11, 12, I tell her, hey, I'm starting to feel a little bit of pain in between. And obviously you have your drip, which is your epidural thing. And the liquid that's released is what's actually helping you not feel the pain. And so she increased it a little bit for me. And that was kind of an indication for her to check again how far dilated I am. And then I was 10 minutes. 10 minutes dilated, guys. Then I was 10 centimeters dilated, right? So now we're ready for action. She's like, okay, cool. So now I'm going to contact your gynecologist. She's going to come. We're going to get ready for birth now. And she says, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time alone. It's the last time you guys are going to be just the two of you. And she says, then I'm going to turn your epidural off. And then I'll be back. And I'm like, sorry, you're going to turn what off? She's like, I'm going to turn the epidural off so that you can feel when you have a contraction so that you know when to push. I was like, hold up. Ain't nobody told me that's going to happen. Anyway, I'm like, fine. I'm ready now to be done. You know? Okay, so she leaves the room. She turns down the epidural. And Lita and I just like beside ourselves. We're like, what's going on? She's coming. You know? So I think it took my gynae maybe 20, 30 minutes to get there. Maybe 20 minutes. That 20 minutes felt like 2 hours. Because very quickly after she turns off the epidural, do you start feeling the pain. So if it was very painful at 7 p.m. when the anesthesiast came, can't you imagine the level of pain it was at 12:30 the night? You know? It was crazy. I was moaning through those last contractions. So the contraction would come, Lita and I would like prepare, and I was like this. I'm at the risk of looking stupid. I'm gonna be super real, okay? There might be a mommy who's pregnant who wants to know this, and so the contraction comes, and I was like, oh, guys, that's how real it was, okay? For my last contractions, I had to like moan through them. And it's so crazy because it's like your body almost gets very used to that pain level like very quickly because your mind is everywhere else, right? You're thinking about, is the baby okay? Am I okay? How much pushes am I going to get? Then the doctor arrives and she's setting up and then she's ready and there's a lot going on. So you can't fully focus on the pain, but I can never forget how the pain made me feel, you know? Anyway, she arrives. Hallelujah. She's there. So in the room, above your bed, these little TV screens, okay? And I never had the TV on at all because we had our laptops and things there. And so that TV was off the whole time. So it was like, you know, when your TV is off, there's still a reflection. Like if you walk past the TV or look into the TV, you can still see something, right? And I'm not registering all of this yet. And she comes and she lifts the bed up. And she's like, okay, mommy, I've checked you. We are ready to push. I'm going to lift the bed up now so that I can see everything. She lifts the bed up. We open up my legs. So Lita's on the side. He's holding my leg a little bit. He's holding onto my arm. And I'm obviously holding him for support so that I can push. And they remind you, and you get taught this in your antenatal class, but there's so much going on in your brain. I couldn't get the timing of when to hold my breath in and when to push right. And so I was pushing from on top and not pushing from inside my core. So what you're supposed to do is that's how you're supposed to push. But I was doing this So I hope you understand like what the difference is. You're supposed to be pushing with everything you have inside, but I was kind of pushing with my top, if that makes sense. After my birth, I had blood shots everywhere, like on my face, because I was pushing from like the wrong place, if that makes sense. Anyway, so we up, she's ready. She's like, okay, mama, give it your first push. So she can kind of gauge, and she says, okay, I feel baby's head. So we do the first push. So you wait for the contraction comes and you push. So you push through am I right? You push through it at the end of it? You push through the contraction, yes. Okay, so I think I gave it 2 pushes, and she said, okay, so I see baby's head is coming out but kind of sliding back, coming out and sliding back. So I'm going to help you because I don't want you to get too tired. Because obviously it's 24 hours later since my first contraction, and people only count that you're in birth from the time that you actually like check in. So I checked in at 5 centimeters. So I think if my doctor were to tell my story, she would say, oh, you were in birth since 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and Mila came 1:45 or 12:45. Sorry, I can't remember. We have it obviously in our memory book on the 31st. So from 3 to 12, that's 9 hours, right? But in your body, your mind, and your soul, this experience started at contraction 1, which is actually 24 hours later. So for me, my entire birth story is 24 hours long. But if you ask anyone else, your birthing actually starts at active birth, and active birth is kind of when you're like, okay, you need to stay here now. You are far dilated, which was at 5 centimeters. So people would say it's only 9 hours. But for me, 24 hours, okay? Just saying. Anyway, so she's like, I don't want you to get too tired. I'm going to help you. And I'm like, so what does that mean? She's like, I'm going to snip a little bit to the side. I learned about all of this, about why they snip, the direction in they snip, and all those things. So I wasn't scared. I was like, go for it. Let's get this baby out. So she snips a little bit to the side so that I have more space for Mila's head to come out. And then I think we did 3 pushes, another 2 pushes. So 2 pushes, and then she was out. So the feeling of her coming out is phenomenal. I remember in my antenatal class, I was like, wait, so their head comes out, then their shoulders is wider. So the head comes out, and then the shoulders come out. Like, how, And then I actually learned that the head comes out, and the one shoulder slips out, the other shoulder slips out, and then the rest of their body actually slips out. So I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And I could feel that. Like, I felt her head come out, and I felt her shoulders then just slip through like that. So she's out and she's quiet. And I'm, like in the movies, waiting for the big fat cry. There's no cry. Okay, she's quiet. And then the doctor says she's sleeping. Mila was sleeping when she came out, okay? And we wiggled her a little bit, and then she woke up and she had a sneeze. And they have things like that are up their nose and things like that. She kind of sneezed everything out, which was obviously ideal and convenient. She sneezes everything out, and then she had like a little cry, but like, like that was it. She didn't even have a big fat cry. I think it was like minutes later. We were like, okay, there we go. We heard our baby cry for the first time. And obviously, as soon as they slip her out, they just wipe her off a little bit, and they put her onto my chest immediately. And there are no words in the English dictionary to describe the moment you hold your baby for the first time. And I'm holding her, and Lida goes down, and he gets to cut the umbilical cord. And he told me after the fact, he thought it was just going to be like a boop and done. He was like, no, he had to like work the scissor. He's like, I didn't realize how strong and firm that cord is. So he does that, and she's on me, and while she's on me, I'm obviously it's incredible how you immediately have these maternal instincts. You just know what to do. So if there's anyone that's pregnant that's like, I don't know what to do, when that baby comes out, God designed us that it's maternal instinct is a thing for a reason. It's maternal and it's instinct. It's there. You don't have to look for it. You don't have to train for it. You just know. The antenatal classes and midwives and all those things are obviously it's nice to have. There's things that you will stumble over because you don't know what to do. So it's nice to have those things. But there's other things that you just know what to do. It's your baby. You just know. Incredible how God has designed all of it. Okay, so I'm staring at her, Lily and I staring at her, and I remind him, oh my gosh, take some pictures and videos. And so we have a little bit of that there. If he gives me his blessing, I'll add a few now. If not, unfortunately, only the closest people to us will see those things. But anyway, and they wipe her off a little bit more, and we put her on my boob. And just to see the fact that they know what to do, and there's colostrum there already in your boob, so you have like the little bit of tiny little bits of milk that they need to kind of kickstart their lives, is there. And then just to fast forward a little bit, because I think my video is getting a little bit too long. So from there, they take her. A lot of people say they take them away, like they take them very far away. She was just there at the end of the bed on like another table, and then they did the measurements and the weighing and all that stuff. She came out at exactly 3 kgs, perfectly healthy. Her head was a little bit coned. Oh, that's another thing that I forgot. Oh my gosh! So I pushed twice. We gave a little snip. Then I pushed again, and still she wasn't fitting. And then they gave me the assisted birth, the little. Oh, I can't believe I forgot the word. But it's like a little suction cone thing that they put at the end of baby's head. And so as you push, they kind of just gently tug, and it helps them come out. And because their heads are soft, and it's soft for a reason, so that they can fit through your canal, her head was a little bit coned on top, and that freaked Leo out. He was like, is that normal? It looks weird. And I was like, it's so normal. It's going to look normal like tomorrow. Don't even worry about it. Anyway, fast forward again. So they take her away, they measure her, everything looks good, she's perfect, and we put on her first little nappy, and they further wrap her up, and they go and prepare her little bed thing, and they take her to our sweet salon, and then there's a nurse that's there with her waiting for you. And in that time, they're like, can you stand up? Do you want us to help you bath? Do you want to bath later? I'm like, no, that was hectic, I want to bath now. And I could stand up from the bed, walk myself to the bath. I felt very wobbly, but I could do it. And for me, there was a lot of blood everywhere walking to the bath and things like that. Lido helped me like clean. I know we didn't have to, but we're just that type of people. Like he helped me. He cleaned a little bit around the bath while I was kind of washing myself. We did the little Epsom salt thing. I got dressed, and then I was ready to go to my suite and be with my baby. So the best day of our lives is really the day we got baptized, the day we got married, and the day Mila was born. Thank you, Jesus. So I know I'm one of the very, very, I don't like to use the word lucky, but in this case I'll use it for now, just for context. I'm one of the lucky ones that I got a blissful pregnancy and a blissful birth. Like that was the birth of my dreams. No complications, no issues. It was beautiful from beginning to end, and there's nothing I would change about it. And if there's anyone watching that had a really tough or scary experience, I just want you to know that God gives his toughest experiences and lessons to his toughest soldiers. And he picked you for that experience because you can handle it, even though it felt like you couldn't. There's certain things that my friends have told me they've experienced through pregnancy, birth, breastfeeding, postpartum, that honestly I don't think I could handle. And my Father in heaven, he knows what I can and cannot handle. And so if he's giving you something that feels like I can't do this, believe you me, you can. I need to wrap this up. This is way too long. I think this video is going to be 20 minutes. I hope people watch it. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. Please give this video a big thumbs up. Leave a comment below about what you think about my birth story. Please share your story or a little bit of your story or something. I want to know some details because I shared mine. And then please subscribe to my channel if you want to learn more about me, my family, and our journey. Again, thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
This is us. Three of us going home.
Walked in 2, walking out 3.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.